Alicia Tonabiz walked into her second game wearing the same jersey, the same colors, and carrying the same expectations, but everything else felt different. The noise around South Carolina women's basketball hadn't died down since her debut. If anything, it had grown louder. Fans weren't angry, but they were restless. They had seen the highlights, heard the comparisons, and imagined what a 6'7" French star could become in Dawn Staley's system. Her first game showed flashes, but flashes weren't enough for a program built on dominance. Alicia knew the whispers, she knew the questions, and more importantly, she knew she had an answer coming. The days between the first and second game were not easy. Film sessions stretched longer than usual. Coaches paused clips repeatedly, pointing out spacing, angles, timing, and physicality, not to discourage her, but to sharpen her. Practices became more intense, not because anyone demanded it, but because Alicia demanded it from herself. She stayed after drills, asked questions, replayed moments in her head. The speed of the college game had surprised her, not in talent but in urgency. In Europe, patience is power. In the SEC, hesitation gets punished. That lesson settled in quickly. When she stepped onto the floor for her second game, her body language told a different story. She wasn't wide-eyed, she wasn't searching for reassurance, she moved with intent. The crowd watched closely, unsure whether they were about to see another adjustment phase or the beginning of something special. From the opening tip, the difference was impossible to miss. Alicia didn't drift into space, she claimed it. She planted herself in the paint on defense, forcing drivers to rethink their decisions before they even crossed the free throw line. On offense, she sealed her defender early, demanding position instead of hoping for it. Her first basket came quietly, but it carried weight. A simple post move, strong hands, soft touch off the glass. No rush. No panic. Just control. The kind of basket that settles a player into the game and tells everyone watching that this moment isn't too big. From there, everything began to flow. Her timing improved. Her reads became quicker. When double teams came, she passed out without hesitation. When they didn't, she finished with authority. Defensively, her presence started to reshape the game. Guards hesitated on drives, bigs struggled to finish over her length. Even when she didn't block shots, she altered them, forcing awkward releases and rushed decisions. South Carolina's perimeter defenders became more aggressive, knowing Alicia was behind them. That trust showed. The defense tightened, the pace increased, the game tilted. As the crowd reacted to each rebound and block, Alicia fed off the energy without forcing anything. She stayed within herself, letting the game reward her patience. Her footwork, questioned just days earlier, looked cleaner. Her positioning, once tentative, became instinctive. She wasn't thinking anymore, she was reacting. And reacting at her size with her skill set is dangerous. By the middle of the game, the narrative had completely flipped. Fans who entered with cautious optimism were now fully engaged. Every touch mattered, every defensive stand sparked noise. The arena felt alive in a way it hadn't during her debut. This wasn't curiosity anymore, it was belief forming in real time. What stood out most wasn't just what Alicia did with the ball, but how she impacted possessions she never touched. Opponents adjusted their offensive sets to avoid her. Shots that normally came at the rim turned into floaters and pull-ups. South Carolina controlled the paint, and Alicia was the reason. That kind of influence doesn't always show up in the box score, but coaches see it immediately. Teammates feel it instantly. Late in the game, fatigue tested everyone on the floor, but Alicia looked steady. She ran the floor. She battled for position. She stayed locked in defensively. That stamina, that mental presence sent another message. She wasn't just surviving minutes anymore. She was earning more. When the final buzzer sounded, the applause wasn't polite. It was loud, sustained, and appreciative. Not because she had arrived at her ceiling, but because everyone understood what they had just witnessed was the beginning of something bigger. Alicia Tonabiz didn't just play better in her second game, she announced her growth, she showed adaptability, she showed confidence, and most importantly, she showed that she belongs. This performance changed the conversation around South Carolina women's basketball. It changed expectations, it turned patience into excitement. Alicia Tonabiz is no longer a question mark. She's a developing force, learning fast, adjusting quicker, and growing more dangerous with every possession. If this is what her second game looks like, the rest of the season suddenly feels very different. Because once a player like Alicia stops thinking and starts trusting, once size meets confidence, and preparation meets opportunity, the word that begins to follow her isn't potential, it's unstoppable. Alicia Tonabiz didn't just answer questions in her second game, she erased them. What once felt like uncertainty now feels like anticipation, the kind that keeps fans watching closely, waiting for the next leap forward. South Carolina didn't recruit her for instant perfection, they brought her in for what she could become. And now, game by game, that future is starting to show itself in real time. This performance wasn't the finish line. It was a warning sign, a sign that the adjustment phase is shrinking, that confidence is catching up to talent, and that a 6 feet 7 inches presence with growing comfort in the system can shift the balance of an entire game. As the season unfolds, every opponent will have to prepare differently. Because Alicia Tonabiz is no longer someone you hope struggles, she's someone you plan around. And if this is only chapter 2 of her story in Colombia, the rest of the book could be special. The doubts have faded, the crowd believes, and Alicia Tonabiz is just getting started. What comes next may not just shock fans, it may redefine what dominance looks like in South Carolina women's basketball.